I don't want to devote too much time to the two topics I'm going to talk about at the start. But I don't think I would feel, I don't know, like right. I don't think it would be good of me to not pay attention to it and at least give some quick thoughts. The first one is the trans situation, particularly with relation to the Supreme Court ruling. Technically in law, it's always meant to have been interpreted as a binary. From what I understand, this is just my layperson understanding. I'm not a solicitor or anything like that at all. But, yeah, from my layperson understanding, it was always meant to be that way, but this has now codified the fact that sex is binary in legal terms. It completely removes the idea of intersex people, different chromosomal expressions, all that kind of stuff. But law has to have a limit. A law can't be there to cover every eventuality. That would be very unwieldy, and solicitors already have to remember a lot. So, I get it, but the problem comes in the fact that it's almost like a license for certain types of people to be allowed to be awful to other types of people. Now, whether you count non-binary and gender fluid, all that kind of stuff, other gender expressions under trans, those kind of people do. So, I am definitely in the firing line, considering myself as non-binary. So it is something that affects me directly. And it's scary. You know, I don't tend to really female express too much, and half of that is anxiety and insecurity. But, you know, I still have badges on my bag. I'm never shy about it. If anyone asks me, I have badges that say they, them, all that kind of stuff. It's not something that I hide per se. But I'm lucky enough to pass that most people just think, oh, you're a bloke. I know that. But like I say, it's half confidence, half anxiety. But the thing is, this might be an erosion before we build back stronger and with more protections. I hope it's that. I really don't want this to be an absolute undoing, because it would be the first step. The bit that gets me is the other letters, if you will, like going, yeah, let's kick the T out. You don't realise that when we're removed, they come after you next. I mean, the bis are safe, like no one pays attention to bisexual people, it seems. But yeah, like, it would absolutely be them next in the firing line. But like I say, I'm not going to go into that too much more. That's just my thoughts. You know, it's unsafe. Like, look after yourself. But let's hope it'll get better soon. The other one is the autism thing, and this is definitely more an American problem, but the problem is America's culture is almost like a proselytizing culture. It shares around the world, especially in English-speaking countries. There is this weird cultural osmosis. You hear people born in like Bristol with the typical influencer American accent, for argument's sake. You know, it is something that's very pervasive. And, you know, RFK Jr.'s brainworms is telling him that autism is a disease that needs to be cured, which again is something that directly affects me. I'm autistic, so, you know, it's scary because, again, people will feel they have license to be awful to people. And I know some people dislike their autism and they wish they could get rid of it. All opinions are welcome and valid as an expression of your own lived experience that's led you to that opinion. Doesn't mean we all have to agree, and, you know, we can kind of counter it with our own, but if you're someone who feels that your autism holds you back, that's understandable, that's valid. But I think a lot of people do see some of the benefits of autism. Like, some people are very meticulous because of that attention to detail that comes with certain autistic elements. Some people, you know, will sit in a room and work really well on their own because the social stuff means that they're used to spending time alone, and it means they're free of distractions. There's positives and negatives to a lot of things. But it is scary, the idea of, wellness camps and things like that, because change the word wellness to something else beginning with C. It's not a good look. So it's kind of terrifying. There's a lot of things going on right now that, you know, it's all punching down. That's the sad thing. But like I say, I didn't want to devote too much time, and it's already nearly 5 minutes, so let's move forward, because that leads me into what I wanted to say, really to introduce as well, the video. This channel, everything I do, I always do with the mindset of having a safe and welcoming space, and that is in order. kind of how reduce, reuse, recycle, that's in order. You're meant to do it that way around. I want to create a safe space that is also welcoming. So this is almost to counter people. If people are going in the comments like, well, being trans is a mental illness, you should be locked up in an asylum, etc. That's not safe, therefore it's not welcome. You're not respecting other people's lives. You can say, I don't agree that being trans is right. That's very different. It's the thing about respecting other people. And as I'm one assignment away from completing my work for my second year of my degree, something that came up in a lecture I had yesterday, as I'm recording this, about looking forward to next year, particularly the counselling module, is how you are going to be as a counsellor. What is your philosophy as a counsellor? What is your ethos? What modalities, like techniques, what styles do you integrate into your practice? And as we were asked to do, like even less than 24 hours, no, a bit over 24 hours since doing that session, I've thought about it. And a few years ago, I became a minister of the Universal Life Church, the proper one. I have my name in a book in Modesto, California. And their motto, their ethos, is very simple: do what is right. And that's my ethos. Absolutely, my ethos is do what is right. And that's subjective, yes, for the most part. There are elements that, are universal, if you will, rights. But in general, just doing what you can to create a net good, to create, again, a safe and welcoming world for people. That's my ethos. So how does that translate into counselling? Well, it's respecting your client as a person with their own experiences. Everything they're bringing to you is part of their story that led to that moment. And if you sit there non-judgmentally, but ready to kind of help them work through their thoughts, their experiences, their emotions, whatever's causing them distress, and to use the term incongruence, and conflict between their true self and their ideal self. If you can just sit there and go, I hear you, I respect you, I get you, I've caught this from what you've said, can we look at this? That's doing what is right. That's respecting other people. That's providing a safe and welcoming environment, in that case, for therapeutic change. And that's my journey that I've been on since way back, let's be honest. The moment that I started getting good psychiatric help, the moment that I kind of went, I want to do this, I want to help people in this way, I want to be a voice for someone who's lonely, who's scared, who's afraid, who doesn't know what they want to do in life. I want to be the person who can sit there and go, this is where you can be that person. The world wants you to fit into a mold and do something different, but here, you be you, and let's try and make you the best you. I mean, that's okay. I'm not trying to make them the best them, of course. I know that it's not about advice, it's not about changing someone, but it's about letting them develop themselves. It's about letting them experience that growth, experience that change. So really, the stuff at the start does tie in. Absolutely. It's why I've structured it this way. Sometimes I do plan things. Sometimes I have an idea of what I want to do. I promise, it works out. But that's it. And if we all start thinking more like that, what's the harm in that? What does it cost, really, to just sit there and go, I disagree with you, but I respect that that's your experience, compared to, no, you're wrong, you need to be locked up, shut away so I don't have to deal with you. It's the anger, the fire, the hate costs a lot more in energy. So that's what I want to say, I suppose, at the end of this video. Go out there, create a self, and try that again. I don't like to edit these. It's my little challenge to myself. So I'm keeping that in. Go out there and get your words right, but also create a safe and welcoming space around you. For your trans allies, for your autistic allies, for your whoever's that just need you to show up for them. So, I'm not going to say anymore. that's a good way to end. So thank you very much for letting me have a bit of a soft rant, you can argue, but a more positive angled one. So next month, hopefully I'll be a bit less stressed. I've got a few projects that are going to take some time and effort, but it's going to be worth it. I'm going to enjoy it, and that's the important thing. I've also got a few recommendations that I want to sort of slot in, so my summer is not a rest period, but I knew that anyway. Also, I'm going to have to prepare for next year a bit as well. It never stops, but it's fun. So I've waffled on far too long. Thank you for letting me do all this, and until next time, take care.